clarify, you said that John agreed to fight Tom, yes?
John agreed to fight Tom?
Is that what you just said there? Before, like on the last answer, you said...
John agreed to fight Tom, yes.
So but he hasn't signed a contract,
Right. Yeah.
That's
I mean, you guys have heard me for the last however long. I said, I guarantee you this fight's going to happen. This fight's going to happen. Fight's going to happen. You guys told me the crazy shit that was going on Instagram and all these other places. But yes, I've been saying John is going to fight Tom.
So there were some rumors out there that you guys had offered him his fuck you money and he turned it down.
Unless you hear it come from here or we put out a press release, don't believe any of this bullshit. But yes, John agreed to fight Tom. Fact.
Dana White has finally broken his silence on the Jon Jones heavyweight title drama, and he did not hold back. The UFC president revealed shocking details about what went on behind the scenes and firmly shut down any hope of a Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou fight. White made it clear, if Jon wants to fight Tom Aspinall, that's fine. But if not, he can go ahead and retire. This blunt ultimatum has sent shockwaves through the MMA world and raised serious questions about Jon Jones' future.
Yeah. And to go back to the thing on Jon Jones, did you see the petition online from the fans?
Yeah.
What did you just make of that?
Every human on earth was DMing it to me, and yeah, I saw it.
I mean, I know you say you always listen to the fans and give the fans what they want. I'm just curious what you make of that.
How many fans are there worldwide now? Like, what's the number? It's like 400 million or something like that. Yeah, 130,000 people want to see him stripped.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not enough.
I'm not saying that. It's kind of fucking silly.
Jon Jones is at it again. The UFC legend just threw major shade at interim champ Tom Aspinall, flaunting every single one of his championship belts. On social media, Jones proudly lined up his titles, sending a clear message. This is what greatness looks like. Aspinall, fresh off his big win, has been gunning for a shot at Jon.
This is the story dividing the MMA community. And after hearing what Dana White just said at the UFC 316 press conference, you'll understand why things are about to get very interesting. But before we dive in, I've got a quick question for you. Do you think Dana White is right to push Jon Jones into a fight with Tom Aspinall? Or should Jones be free to choose his own opponent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you think.
It's a conversation we've had many times now, the Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones fight. It's a bit different now, right? Because Jon's been tweeting a lot about the fact that he's told you his plans, he's ready to vacate the belt, and all the rest of it.
He said he's ready to vacate the belt?
He said he doesn't care if you strip him, he would vacate it.
Crazy. Yeah, I've been busy. I haven't been keeping up with the gossip. He comes back, he's either back today or came back yesterday or whenever he's in Thailand. So he's home. We'll be home tonight, Tuesday. We'll figure this out.
But if he doesn't fight Tom Aspinall and he does walk away, do you think he's ducked in? Would you?
Tom Aspinall's the guy. He's the guy. Listen, if the guy wants to retire and doesn't want to fight, nothing you do. I didn't want Habib to retire. I thought DC should have stayed in it longer. So it's none of my business. I'll do what I can to make the fight if we can. If he's talking that crazy shit, I didn't realize that.
So smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's dive into Dana White's explosive revelations. This is where things get absolutely wild. During the UFC 316 press conference, reporters informed White that Jon Jones had been tweeting about vacating his heavyweight title. White's reaction was priceless. He's ready to vacate the belt? I mean, crazy. I've been busy, I haven't been keeping up with the gossip. The drama is heating up fast.
You guys were in Dana White's position. Are you stripping him of the belt?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't fight, you gotta get stripped of the belt, right? If you're not gonna fight.
Did you sign the petition to get Jones stripped of the belt?
No, send it to me, I'll sign it.
Perfect, I'll send it.
Wait, it gets better. Dana White then dropped a bombshell no one saw coming. When asked about the Jones versus Aspinall fight, White revealed Jon Jones agreed to do the fight. Jon Jones was offered the deal and accepted it.
The only time that anything remotely weird has ever happened with Jon Jones was the time that his fucking camp did the weird Chael Sonnen thing. We can't fight Chael Sonnen on short notice. Other than that, and that wasn't him, it was his team, and he listened to his team for whatever reason. But that's like the goofiest fucking move in the history of the UFC. Just to talk about that too, when you talk about Jon Jones at that time when that happened, that's the other thing about this sport right now. Not only the fighters are they willing to step up, but the coaches. You know, a lot of these guys go to their coaches and their coaching staff and say, you know, we're being offered this fight on short notice. Jon Jones coaches told him not to do it.
This is going to put you on the spot, but would you fight again under that contract? Would you be willing to fight again under that contract? It extends for a year.
No.
So if you win on January and you do not get a new contract, you would?
No, I will not fight for 500,000-600,000 anymore. I mean, it's over. Yeah. It's over. I just did this. I took this fight just, I mean, for a personal reason and because I want to like make sure that regardless, even it's unfair, I've been wrongly treated, I can make my case of saying I've accomplished the 8th fight, you know. But no.
Francis Ngannou's head coach, Eric Nixick, revealed that Ngannou is open to a UFC return, which, if you were paying attention to the UFC's initial split with Francis Ngannou, is absolutely insane news to hear from Francis Ngannou. But that's not the only thing that we have to discuss in today's video, because Jon Jones, like clockwork, all of a sudden is really interested in fighting again, and now is really interested in a Francis Ngannou fight. Now we're talking. That's a real super fight, a clash of champions, not just hype. So Jon Jones is just the most pathetic guy, and I'm going to get into why in a second, but I wanted to discuss the Francis Ngannou stuff first.
I think enough time has passed. I would love to see somehow, some way that they can mend these fences and get back in competing in the UFC.
The Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou boxing match?
Is that the one we bet the ear off?
No, this is that's Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. That's from the 90s.
Yeah.
No, this fight that took place this last weekend. Francis Ngannou, who is the UFC heavyweight champion, he vacated the belt so he could take this fight with Tyson Fury. This was his dream fight. Tyson Fury, who's the lineal heavyweight champion. Francis Ngannou had never had a boxing match ever in his life. Had 0 boxing matches, but he was the UFC heavyweight champion.
Okay.
Knocked down Tyson Fury in the 3rd round. Beat him up in the 8th round.
Business than it is about ego. At least it is from Francis's side. You know, he wants the opportunity to be paid for, like, it's like being an independent contractor, you know, like your services to be paid the highest amount for whoever needs your services for. He doesn't want to be stuck in a position where he's not allowed to go box or he's not allowed to go do these things. But he went out and did those things and he competed and he made a lot of good, you know, a lot of money and proved that he could do it. So now where does his motivations come from, right? It's not
interim champ and champ who is in the position to pick. The only reason why we get here is because the organization makes everything happen. They organize everything. But now, I don't think the blame should be on either Jon or Aspinall.
Anybody that he could beat, it would be Wilder. He's one of the hardest punchers ever. But as far as actual boxing ability, his level's way lower than someone like an Usyk or a Tyson Fury or somebody like that. Both the guys' punching power is absolutely like off the chart. It's absolutely ridiculous, out of this world. But I think he's quite hittable, and his fight IQ doesn't seem to be like great. I think if there was any of them who he could beat, it would definitely be Wilder.
Allegedly, the number that Jon wanted, and I believe that to be $12 million. Got my own sources. I don't believe that Jon's turned it down. Even though Ariel's confirmed it, even though that's believed in our industry, I do not believe that Jon Jones got a phone call matching Jon Jones's demands and he said no. And I do not believe that Jon Jones would play that game of chicken. Moreover, I don't believe that if he did, we wouldn't have heard about it. If they believe it, if it's to the point that they're ready to move on, it's to the point when they're done trying is when they go book a different fight for Tom.
With Jon Jones, he got on Twitter and he was tweeting up a storm. Here's what he had to say regarding everyone saying that he's ducking Tom Aspinall and stuff like that. He said, I spoke to the UFC a long time ago about what my future plans are. I haven't really worked out since my last fight in New York City. Honestly, I believe it's in the UFC's best interest to keep presenting me as the company's champion, not Tom. And then he goes on to say, I've just been playing the role of the company man by doing nothing at all and holding all the position. And truthfully, it's been incredibly lucrative. I've made more money off of Tom being the interim champ than Tom has himself. It sucks to see the rest of the division get slowed down like this, but that has nothing to do with me. I don't pull the strings. Well, it does have everything to do with you, John. You are the champion and you're the guy that should fight, that should defend or vacate. Now, don't worry, we're not going to go through all ground there and give you all the same points. But he continued tweeting. He was talking.
Weaknesses, mate. Every fighter has got weaknesses. When you're talking about two guys like that, massive, giant guys, 6'5", 6'6", 120 kilo plus whatever they weigh, loads of knockouts on the record. Both guys can lose at any time. So, of course, both guys have got a way to win. I think Ngannou's weaknesses would be his, maybe his boxing ability a little bit, but as I say, he makes up for that in other attributes. And I'd say AJ's weaknesses would be kind of the unpredictable nature of Francis Ngannou when he's inside the boxing ring.
And does AJ have a game plan?
I think fighting someone that muscle-bound, you've got to try and drag them into deep waters and get them tired. Do not get dragged into a scrap early on with Francis Ngannou, because that is suicide. You got to jab him, you got to move him, you got to stay slick, you got to keep the hands tight defensively. Don't get greedy with the punches, and just be slicker than him. Just use your boxing pedigree.
It's the most money I've ever been paid by a fighter. It was unbelievable. It was more than I expected. I wasn't expecting, and obviously Francis is always taking great care of me, but it floored me. Like when I saw my Wells Fargo account that morning, and it literally brought me to tears, because he changed my life, and not only from a professional standpoint, but a monetary standpoint. It allowed me a lot of financial freedom to be able to enjoy my coaching, enjoy being a dad and a husband. And, I get to take my kids to Park City this weekend, my daughter's 16th birthday, helped us.
Heavyweight champion of the world, Tom Aspinall.
And I mean, as far as Curtis Blades go, there was also a lot of people thinking it could have gone over a round and a half. And I mean, you don't like second rounds. Like, what do you have against second rounds, Tom Aspinall?
Absolutely nothing. His coach said in the build-up, we're going to drag him into deep water. We're going to drag him to the later rounds. So I was preparing myself for the later rounds. You know what I mean? That was me. I was going slow in there, man. That wasn't me trying to knock him out at all. I never looked for the finish. I was like they're saying they're going to drag me into deep water. I'm going to look in the camera and say, somebody drag me into deep water. I'm telling you, I want to feel what it's like. I want to see if I can swim or not. John Jones, if you can drag me there, take me there. Because right now, all these guys are saying.
In my opinion, if you look at his body of work over the last 15 years, he's like as close as you can get to perfection as possible. He's like 37, 38 years old, but not only that, he's got 1 million miles on the clock. So he's got a lot of damage on the body. He's took a lot of shots to the head. And that's not me saying anything negative about it. That's the reality of it. And I'm sure John Jones is aware of that. And he's fighting one of the most concussive punchers in UFC history. And I just think I can exploit it. Like, I think to get out the way of me for 25 minutes at this point in his career without getting hit once, and that's all I need is just one, I think that's going to be...
Fight, you know what I'm saying? Title fight. He's talking about with Islam. He's saying that he's a little new in the sport still. Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do before. But he has a big future. You got a big future.
Big future, but I think that same Habib career, not long.
Yeah, not very long.
Yeah, just start the pressure just didn't make the fight start. So it's done a lot. You kept on keeping on, and I still are. So like, well, how's this even argument?
The longer you're on top, the more time your opponents get to study your footage. People fixate on fighting you instead of the next opponent.
And it's starting.
Yeah, it gets harder and harder the longer you stick around. We get older.
And then they're yelling at you, and you're like, you know, you started since me. So it's like, why are you even talking?
I feel like the comment that I made a lot of people upset, a lot of Islam fans upset. But really what I was trying to do is I was trying to translate for Nate to the Russians. Nate speaks in a very laid-back way. He speaks with a lot of slang, and if you're not American, it may be hard to understand what he was saying. So I was really just trying to translate for.
Islam Makhachev is a better version of Bilal. I think his striking on the feet is the striking on the feet. I think it's easier than Bilal because he's more just he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style. But yeah, he's the pound for pound #1. So it's a tough fight. But I guess we'll just watch all his fights again, make a solid game plan, and then just start working at it. From pretty much now, I'm going to start working on ways to beat him, different ways to get back to my feet, stuff in the takedown. But I'm pretty confident I can get this one done.
Will you pick Volk's brain?
Yeah, 100%. I definitely plan. After the last 2 fights, I've spent a bit of time in Wollongong. So yeah, I think probably the first stop, we go to Wollongong, talk to Volk, see what he reckons.
Islam went up not out of courage. Islam did not go up out of adding hardware to put on his mantle. He went up with one condition, which is I don't have to fight Belal Muhammad. Now, he can sit around and say, I could beat Belal and I wouldn't go up and beat Belal because I can beat Belal. The bottom line is you entered a division openly that you said you wouldn't face one of the top guys. That's not a sign of courage. That's a sign of cowardice. I don't love the idea. You have an undefeated. Make sure you understand what happened. I know this is your friend, DC. I think of Islam as my friend too. But let's think of what happened. You have an undefeated, #1 ranked world champion who's chasing you down. He is willing to leave his division behind. He's willing to walk away from his belt to chase you down. You are so interested in getting away from this guy that you not only leave your belt, you leave your division, and the whole thing is only contingent that you don't have to fight Islam. Not for nothing. This is not the way champions conduct themselves.
That's where I disagree with my boy Chael. I love Chael, and we have a lot of fun on our show. But you can't call someone or say they have that type of behavior when they're doing that. And they've defended the belt multiple times. They've fought people on short notice. They've fought people coming up in weight class. They've done just about everything they can to show that they're willing to lay it on the line. We always talk about step on the line, step on the line, step on the line. Steps on the line every single time. This is the first time that Islam has honestly put his wishes above what everybody else wants. Because when everybody else wanted him to fight Volk, he did it. When everybody was looking for him to fight Arman, and Arman couldn't, well, fight this guy who's number 5, Moicano. Dangerous, no training camp. He did it on a day's notice. He's always done it. So to say that it wasn't a great move in that regard, I don't agree with that.
Where in our history of knowing Islam Makhachev is there anywhere that says this guy's going to duck anybody? That's not who he is.
Those two words just don't go together, Islam and ducking. It doesn't add up in any sense of the word. Like you said, there's certainly situations of guys quote unquote ducking, but you kind of have to define what ducking is too, right? Like, are they going out of their way specifically to not fight a guy? Islam's going for a bigger opportunity. Like I don't think that's ducking in any definition of the word that you can muster up.